You are listening to Any Given Sunday, a part of the Dead End Podcast Network. Please subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and all other podcasting services. Please make sure you check out Dead End Hip Hop, Dead End Sports, Dead End Gaming, Is the Mic Still On, Chris Platt's Strictly Hip Hop and Hoops Talk, and a host of other shows on our podcast network. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. For Sunday, June 2nd, 2019, this is Any Given Sunday. I'm your host, Manny Brown. What's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys had a happy, safe, blessed week. My guest this week is a guy that I've been wanting to have on the show for a while, who's been ducking me, but he's finally on the show. He is manned up. He has been willing to fight the good fight and join me on the podcast finally. Mr. Baylor the Great.
From the creators of the Murder Minute app comes a new podcast all about the gory details without any of the small talk. Get the whole story, minus the chit-chat, with Murder Minute, your no-frills, all-chills hit of true crime. Through meticulously crafted storytelling and sound design, Murder Minute delivers a unique and immersive listening experience for the die-hard true crime fan. Each episode of Murder Minute includes exciting news updates, in addition to a full true crime story distilled into a bite-sized package just for you. And because Murder Minute is the length of a short commute, it's a perfect addition to your routine. Don't forget to download the Murder Minute app for your daily dose of true crime. Available on the App Store and Google Play, and follow them on Instagram at Murder Minute for even more true crime headlines. Subscribe today on Himalaya, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. The Murder Minute Podcast. It's true crime time.
Host of the two very successful, very great podcasts, BTG for President and Open Run, which are available anywhere where you can find podcasts. Baylor, what's going on, man? Welcome to Any Given Sunday.
Well, it's about time. It's about time. And you know we got a lot to discuss when it comes to Open Run.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, it's definitely about time, and it's definitely time that we discuss a lot of things that we have overdue. You know what I mean? I figured it was a good night. You know, I didn't record earlier like I usually do. I figured I'd wait till after the game. You know, and I wanted to get one of my guys that I'm on the Twitter chat with. You know, I figured why not my man Baylor? You know what I mean?
Well, you know what, man? I'll take this shot. I know I've been sending you some tweets saying you've been ducking me, but the truth to the matter is, yo, we working. We some grown men out here trying to get that bread, and you know, the schedules is hard to line up, man. Especially when it comes to this podcast game, man. It's difficult to link solid cats up and with some great content and things like that. So, you know, man. God bless this Sunday.
Like I say, man, like I say all the time, man, you know, adulting is hard, man. So, you know, it's one of those things, man. You know, when I got the time, you don't got the time. When you got the time, I don't got the time. So we finally got our schedules to line up a little bit. So we here now, man. We here now. So that's a good night.
No doubt, man. Let's rock. I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. I'm definitely excited, man. But, you know, anytime I have first time guests on the show, man, I like to give them a little bit of time to introduce themselves to the audience that may not know them, may not know of their show and who they are and what they're about. So, you know, just take this time right now to introduce yourself to the world. Who is Baylor, man?
No doubt. Baylor the Great, BTG is what they call me in the podcast street. I have two shows, BTG for President and Open Run with BTG. So the difference between the two is BTG for President is more of my, I'm very transparent. I talk about my marriage, raising kids, my personal, experiences living in LA. I come up with random topics to talk about, things like that. Open Run, you know, is my sports show. That just gives me a chance to just rant about what I really want to, because I'm so used to listening to other people's sports podcasts and having my opinions. I felt like, well, might as well have my own. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Raiders fan, UCLA, everything California. Yeah, man. That's just about it.
Word. That's what's up. How long you been doing the podcasting thing, man? When did you get started with the podcasting officially?
I'm a part of the. I'm coming up on 100 episodes in a few weeks. I think I stopped counting my episodes a long time ago, but I'm part of a prestige class. I'm up there with the Above the Rim, my guy Just. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Just. Shout out to Just.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My boy D Murph over there in Houston. You know, anybody that's hitting the 100 mark and coming around that mark, you know, I'm somewhat around that class. So it'd be a full year in August or September or something like that. But both podcasts is in the 90s right now. So, and I got into podcasting. I've been listening to podcasting since like 2013 or 14 or something like that. But you know, like I said, I just started recording last year.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations to you, man. That's major. That's a major achievement, man. There's a lot of start. You know, people don't understand that this thing is hard, man. And this takes a lot of time and commitment. And, you know, a lot of cats start a podcast and never finish them. So for you to be at 100 episodes or close to it, it's major, man. So congratulations to you, man. Keep striving. Keep pushing. No doubt. No doubt, man. So you said you wanted to get started on your own podcast show. You know, what I think the BTG for President one is an easy one. That's just your own kind of, you telling your story, you talking about your life, your experiences or whatever. So that's kind of an easy one. But, you know, what made you kind of start your own sports podcast? I mean, I know you mentioned it. You kind of just sat there one day and were like, hey, I'm used to listening to other sports shows. So, you know, why not start my own? But what really, you know, was it one particular, was it just that? Was it just the fact that, you know, you were listening to kind of subpar analysis and you figured you could give your own, or, you know, what kind of was the determining factor to start Open Floor?
Well, you know what? I respect everybody analysis and opinions and things like that. But with both podcasts, though, it wasn't something that I wanted to do by myself. You know, I was actually, you know, if you know, the listeners go back and listen to one of my episodes, or a few of my episodes, I constantly say I was forced into the podcast game. Like, cats literally gave me equipment and things like that, did my artwork and was like, you know what I'm saying, do the editing and things like that. I have no idea how to do the editing. But the sports show came about because, you know, I was just asked to, I'm a part of the Rare Sonnets Network, and they had a sports show, but it wasn't consistent. And so he was like, yo, if you want to do a sports show, just let me know, and then I'll get the artwork for that. We can edit that, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? It was a challenge. So I'm like, I've never missed a week. I do 2 podcasts. Now I do 3 because I'm part of another, which you should know, the Breaks Radio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I do the Breaks Radio, but I also do, you know, like I said, BTG for President and Open Run, you know, once a week. And that was it, man. I mean, we all love sports. Shout out to the Thread. We all are part of different franchises, and we love different players and things like that. And it's just that raw barbershop talk that I could spit, and, you know, it was just something for me to do. You know, I love talking sport, and I love the feedback. And I typically get feedback on Twitter, or a cat will text me like, yeah, I don't know about that one. You know what I'm saying? But but that's what I like, though. I like to sit up there and just spar with cats, or, you know, back and forth all day, you know. No
doubt. What's the hard, and before we continue, shout out to all the Breaks cats, man. Love those boys. Shout out to everybody over at the Breaks Radio, man, for real. What's the hardest show to do? If you had to pick one, like if one particular show, what's the hardest one to do? Is it the sports show? Is it BTG for Prez? Is it Breaks Radio? Which one of them is the hardest one, in your opinion, to do?
Is actually, if I had to pick, it would have to be BTG for President, only because probably 90% of my shows are either created or personal experience. I try to stay away from the social media topic, because that's what everybody is talking about, you know. And I listen to a lot of podcasts that talk about the same stories that happen every week or every month. So it's more the creativity, and plus I'm a solo podcaster. You know, I don't have anybody to bounce ideas or opinions off of, to spar with, you know what I'm saying, during the shows. So, I mean, unless I bring a guest on, but I don't have a partner with me. You know, right. The sports show is easy because the content is given to me every week, every day, you know what I mean? Right. Until we get to that dry spell, because I'm not a huge baseball fan, but by, I guess, being born in LA, I was just born into the Dodgers. So technically I'm a Catchwell Dodgers fan. But when it comes to that dry spell, and that dry spell is usually after the NBA finals, it's not much to talk about except for the off-season transitions and things like that until football season starts back up.
Right. And even that, I mean, even NBA free agency is 2-3 weeks at the most. And, after that, it kind of dries out. So, you kind of done with the topics as far as that goes. So, yeah, no, I definitely get it. Talk to me about the LA sports scene, because that's something that's always interested me. I mean, I root for a California team in the Lakers, but I don't live in California, obviously. So talk to me about the LA sports scene. Just kind of describe, LA gets a bad rap because it's considered a transient town. A lot, fans show up late, the kind of a laissez-faire attitude. You live there, you live it, you breathe it, you feel it every single day. Is it as bad as people maybe on the East Coast and other markets make it out to be? Is it a passionate fan base that kind of gets misunderstood, or is it accurate? Is it kind of a laissez-faire fan base that doesn't really appreciate sports the way it should, like an East Coast? It doesn't have that East Coast fervor and just passion and anger.
Man, you know what? Hey, first of all, shout out to you. You got some good questions. I ain't never got no questions like this.
Hey, man, the audience is here not to listen to me babble. They get enough of me babbling enough, but you know what I mean? But the guests, man, I got to keep them engaged. You know what I mean?
I can dig it, man. I can dig it. It's a mixture of everything that you just said. And the reason is because California, I mean, it's a huge state, but it seems like everybody stays in Southern California. You know what I mean? I feel like I get it. I feel like it's like 5 people that stay up north. And what I mean by up north, I'm talking about beyond the Bay Area. So, no, I mean, look, it's weird, man. It's weird. The funny thing is we're divided. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have your UCLA versus the USC. You had the Rams and the Raiders at one point. You had the Clippers and you got the Lakers, which a lot of people don't understand outside of California, is that there's not a rivalry between the Lakers and the Clippers. There never has. Truth be told. At one, it's sometimes during certain seasons where we actually root for the Clippers to do good because they've been bad for so long. But and then you got the Kings, you got the Ducks, you got the Angels, and you got the Dodgers, and then you go up north, you know what I'm saying? You got the A's, you got we have too many teams.
Right.
We got too many teams, and that's not even bringing in everything to do in the city. You see what I'm saying? So, the one major thing that I have to explain to people is that there's a lot of people out here that's not from California. So, it's just, you're going to have your diehard Lakers fans. Don't get me wrong. And even some of the Clippers. The Clippers got some great fans too. They got some new ones, but they got some great fans. You got your diehard. This is a Laker town followed by Dodgers. You know what I mean? Because we haven't had a state. That was the question. That was the next question I was actually going to ask you. If you had to pick, what town is it? Is it a Laker town? Is it a Dodger town? Oh, by far, by a landslide. By a landslide, it's the Lakers. By the land, no one comes close. Right. Not the Dodgers is the closest team, and they don't even come that close. But they got some loyal fans. I stay not too far away from the Angels, though. I moved out to the IE, and the Angels is not too far away from where I stay. They have loyal fans. And then you got, like I said, if you went to UCLA, or it's funny how you become fans of teams. It'd be little stuff like, the only reason why I'm a UCLA fan is because back in the 5th grade, we took a field trip to UCLA. And I got to explore the campus. I met Toby Bailey. He was my favorite basketball player in college basketball at the time, because I got to meet him. It could have been the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's a lot of history. Like, I respect USC football team. Their basketball team has been trash.
Forever.
Yeah, forever.
They've had their moments. They had their little moments in here and there, but yeah, for the most part.
Small moments. But, everybody is a fan of, you're going to find fans of all these teams out here, and it's just a lot to do. That's all it is. We just, we legalized marijuana. So they keep adding stuff, But yeah, that's just what it is. It's a big city. Everybody knows everybody. And that's just what it is, man.
I get it. No, I totally understand. I've always wanted to ask somebody from California, especially LA, like, is it as bad as people make it out to be? Because, you hear the media rhetoric that, they don't call it a bad sports town, but they sometimes kind of dig on it as LA, they kind of show up when they want to, late arriving crowd, early leaving, that sort of, you've heard the knock. So,
but if you compare it to a city like Louisville or Kentucky, it doesn't come close because they don't have a pro team. Far as basketball and football. So those basketball games, those college basketball and football games is going to be lit.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's other towns. I mean, LA, I would say LA is a good sports town. From the little bit of interaction I've had with people that I know from LA, LA is a good, they got passionate fans. It's different than a town like Miami. Like, Miami's a terrible sports town. I say Miami or Atlanta are two of the worst sports towns in America. Like, as far as pro sports, like, it's just terrible. They're just terrible. I mean, have you ever seen Dolphin games, like, in the stands? Like, it's just terrible. Like, they're awful. Yeah. Miami's terrible. Obviously, everybody knows about the Marlins being infamously just not supported. And then, of course, you get to Atlanta, and Atlanta, people think because, outside of the Falcons, maybe, and even the Falcons sometimes is a little iffy. And I would argue that people didn't really start becoming Falcons or rocking with the Falcons like that until Michael Vick got there. But
that's true.
But even the Falcons, I mean, outside of the Falcons getting support like that, like, Atlanta's a terrible sports town. I mean, the Hawks don't really get a lot of love like that on a day. I mean, they like them when they're good, but outside of that, yeah. I mean, I remember seeing playoff games for Braves games that were just completely empty. Like, so
I think the Braves, would you say the Braves is probably the top franchise out there?
I mean, I would say it's, again, I don't live in Atlanta. So obviously somebody that, one of my podcast mentors is from Atlanta. So he'll be able to answer this question better. But I would say from my personal experience being in Atlanta, knowing a lot of people from Atlanta, I would say it's a Falcons fan. It's a Georgia town first and foremost, obviously. But as far as pro sports, I would say it's a Falcons town first, Braves town second. And that's just because football's so big and it's a football state in general. So, by just happenstance, it's going to be a Falcons town more. But yeah, I mean, as far as a consistent fan base loyalty, I mean, I think you can make a case at the Braves. I mean, because they had that 15-year stretch where they were successful. And the Falcons have kind of been up and down. They've had moments, they've had pockets of success. Really since Matt Ryan has been there and Julio Jones or whatever, that's been probably the most successful run they've had, really. I mean, you look at 98, they had that 1 year in 98 that they were good, and then they fell off again until Vic got there. And then
the
Vic
Big Dirty Birds.
Yeah, the Big Dirty Birds. And then Vic got there for a couple years and it was all right. And then, of course, he decided to, kill dogs and commit, the ultimate national, crime, of killing dogs. And I say that with full sarcasm.
I was just, I just finished talking to somebody about Vic and that, how they took 2 years away from him. That was, come on, man.
For killing some dogs, man. Like, look, I love dogs just as much as anybody, but come on, man. And I get it.
It was some pit bulls, man. Come on.
And I get it. He lied, and I get all that, but come on, 2 years, really? Like, really, 2 years? But yet our president commits treason, and we debating whether we should impeach him or not. But hey, we're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into
what it is.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that. But but it's always interesting when I've always wanted to ask that question about California and LA specifically about the fans, because I feel like it gets a bad rap sometimes. That being said, though, the Rams, do you think they're gonna make it? Do you think they're gonna survive a second go around in LA? Because I gotta be honest. I've talked to a lot of people that are Ram fans, and people that I know that are in LA that are Ram fans, and they're kind of iffy about the Rams in LA again.
Well, they just lost a complimentary piece to their D line, so that was major. I think we stole one of their safeties, if I'm not mistaken. The Rams, they lost some pieces, but I'm more about the viability of the franchise, because people forget the Rams left LA for a reason. They left LA for a reason. Attendance had dwindled in LA. Now, granted, they weren't playing in downtown, or they weren't playing in, I think they were playing in Orange County by that point when they left in 94.
So, by the time Kroenke finally opens up this damn palace he's building, who knows what Rams football will be like? Do you see the Rams surviving long term in LA again? Do you see it? I'm not even going to ask you about the Chargers because I think the Chargers are done. I don't see the Chargers. I think it's going to be a worse situation than the Clippers Lakers situation is now. Like, I think, like you just said it, the Clippers at least have a built-in foundation and a fan base. Like, the Chargers have none.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing though. Like, as much as I hate the Chargers, why would you take them away from San Diego? And it's a beautiful city, and I understand that maybe they couldn't get the public funding or whatever.
Well, that was what it was. That was what it was. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. And Spanos is an idiot. The owner is an idiot. Because he overplayed his hand. He threw a hissy fit. He wanted a stadium. San Diego said no. And you got to understand, man, these towns are not going to vote to build a football stadium for a team that's only basically playing 8 home games. Like,
they're playing at the Home Depot Center though, man. Like, that's a soccer. That's a small soccer.
Yeah, no,
stadium.
I feel you. I'm just saying from the San Diego, like, I don't like, and I'm veering off subject a little bit, but I don't believe that cities and municipalities should be building these billion-dollar owners stadiums. Like, I just personally don't believe in that. Like, if I'm a taxpayer, I'm like, no, build your own fucking stadium. Like, I'm not fucking paying taxes to build you a damn palatial for you to fucking play 8 home games in. Like, nah. Like, and that's another thing. Like, it's different than when you build an arena. Like, an arena you can use for other things, graduations, conventions, concerts, etc. Like, there's not many acts that are filling up a football stadium. Like, outside of big time rock and roll stars, big time pop stars, the Jay-Z and the Beyoncés of the world. Like, ain't that many acts filling that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
On a year-to-year basis. So it's a waste of money. And that's what these cities, and I'm glad that these cities have finally gotten smart and put the pressure on these billion-dollar owners. Like, no, we're not building y'all a stadium. Like, we'll help, we'll pay a little percentage probably, but not a lot. We ain't splitting the bill on this small, I mean? Like, we're just not doing it. So
the cold part about it though is that if we do press back like that, we're forcing them to mess up history. Cause I hate to see teams continue to move like that. I
do. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that we are messing with history when you do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think you've seen other organizations in other cities, although I think it's a different time now. Like, I think like, for instance, if you're like the Yankees, if the Yankees wanted a new stadium and the city said no, like, are the Yankees really going to leave New York? Like, that's not happening. Like, I know the Dodgers left, and but that was a different circumstance. It was a different time, different era, different policy. Like, what I mean? So things are different now. But yeah, I feel you. I don't want to see more teams leave.
But I'm saying though, we pretty much know that the Yankees, they won't go anywhere. But what if they had one of those owners where they said, you know what, let's take our shit up to Connecticut.
Yeah, true. No,
you're messing up history. Like, come on, bro. I went from a Los Angeles Raiders fan to an Oakland Raiders fan to a Las Vegas Raiders fan.
That's crazy. And I was going to ask you about that too. Like, damn. So how is this whole situation even playing out? Like, with LA and Oakland and Las Vegas? Like, so essentially this is a lame duck season in Oakland now at this point. Again, are the fans going to show up? Like, but
I'm gonna tell you, all bias aside, when it comes to certain franchises, like, the fans ain't gonna go nowhere. Raiders fans ain't going nowhere. I feel like Oakland was dealt a bad hand. At the same time, the home fan base for the Raiders has been in LA and will always be in LA. This is why I don't know why they didn't let that move happen. I have no idea why the Raiders are not in LA right now, sharing that stadium with the Rams.
The Rams?
I have no.
Yeah, that should have been the second team in LA. I agree with you.
I have no idea why. And then you bring in San Diego, which makes no sense because there's zero. I ain't gonna say zero, but the lack of San Diego fans that's out here, San Diego is a beautiful city, and we will go there on vacation. It's expensive. The freeways are weird. But we don't care about the goddamn. We forget that they have universities. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard, San Diego State. Marshall.
Yeah, shout out.
But no, we don't even care. Come on, man. Come on, it's ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, selfishly, I'm like, all right, well, by them going down to Vegas, I'm only 3.5 hours away. That's more games for me.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I just no, go ahead.
I don't like the name.
Yeah, it's wonky. It's wonky as hell for me. And it's just a bad look for the league too. The fact that one of the premier franchises in the sport, the Raiders, are in Las Vegas. Like, really? This is what we're doing? Like, really? This is what we're doing? Like, we couldn't come up with any better, like a better agreement, a better situation right now. Like, this is what we're doing. We're moving. Like imagine. And I hate to bring up the Yankees again because I hate the Yankees. But imagine if the Yankees left New York and went up to Connecticut and became the Connecticut Yankees, or the
New York would not have.
Like, come on. Like, it's just certain. I mean, you want to tell me I live in the Pacific Northwest. I live in the Seattle area. You want to tell me Seattle moves, and that was cold-hearted the way that happened because that was just some backhanded, underhanded shit that happened. But, you want to tell me the Sonics move, like, okay, people will be pissed off, but it won't leave a huge dent in the overall infrastructure of the NBA. But there's just certain teams, there's certain markets that just belong where they're at. You know what I mean? Like the Raiders, like they should either be in LA and Oakland. At no worse Oakland. You know what I mean?
And I'm fine with them staying in Oakland. That's cool because, like I said, like half of my life or majority of my life, they've been in Oakland. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fine with that. But when you start doing stuff like, bro, you took away the Browns to create the Ravens only to get the Browns again.
Yeah, true.
I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? You take away Seattle to get OKC, but everybody wants Seattle back.
Exactly. And then when Seattle comes back, OKC basically has to give up their history because essentially Seattle's going to get the name back. And I think Seattle retained the history. So
we just said it. You're messing up history.
Yeah, true. No, I get it. It's a valid point. It really is a valid point when you play this game of chicken with people. But I think eventually you have to stand your ground, and you have to stand your ground because it's not right that you have these cities that are cash strapped saying, "Yo, we're gonna, say we got schools that are underfunded, but here you go, here's $10 billion, build yourself a stadium." Like, nah, it's just a terrible look. It's just a terrible look. There's no way that you could justify that. You know what I mean? Like, just no way to justify that. But yeah, no, I get it. The Las Vegas thing is weird to me, man. It's just weird because I guess I've never been I've never rooted for a team that's left. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know what my mind would be like. Like, me, I love the Mets. Like, I'm a beloved Mets fan. And as much as I fucking hate that team and as much as they piss me off, like if they ever left New York, like I would feel weird being a Met fan still. Like, if they left New York and went to Portland, like the Portland Mets, like I'm not rooting for these motherfuckers. Like, this is not the Mets. Okay,
now I got a question for you because even though I have an issue with them leaving, and I'm getting over it because it's still, it's closer to home. I am a fan of the logo. So
true, yeah. But sometimes, teams are a part of a community. They're part of a city. They're a part of a way of life. And I get it. Like myself, like I root for the Lakers, even though I've never been to LA. Like it's on a bucket list. Like I want to go to LA. I want to visit. I'm not that damn far away. I need to. My wife has gone plenty of time.
Can we put it on wax now? We go to a Laker game next season?
Let's do it. I'm dead ass. Let's do it.
Okay.
But
remember when you asked the question like, are the fans really lazy like that? No lie. You know how many tickets or opportunities I had to go to the Lakers game last season I didn't go. And it's sad. But you know what though? Because they were kind of seeds.
Yeah,
I've been to 3 Clipper games last season, and that was because I was close to goddamn the sideline.
Yeah, true. And dog, I've seen these. I mean, and to say this for the record, because I know there's some haters that are going to be like, "Oh, this nigga man, you're a Laker fan. You ain't never been to LA. You're not." Bruh, I've had opportunities to go to Laker games. Like I've had opportunities. Like I've literally been entering my debit card in and just hitting submit on a motherfucker and buying these tickets. Like, but dog, these tickets is expensive, man.
Bro, I messed up everything.
Fam, these tickets is expensive. Like, you gotta think, like, I'm in Seattle, so that means I gotta fly out, I gotta find a hotel, you know what I mean? Now, luckily my wife has family there, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but still, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a trip, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But going back to your question, right? Or the point that you brought up, like, I feel like sometimes there's certain teams, there's certain organizations that represent a city, that represent a culture. And when you move them out of there, like, I don't know, it just feels funny. Again, I'm talking from a person or a fan that has never had to see their team leave. So I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation. It's easy for me to say that now, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what my mindset would be. Of course, I root for the organization. I root for the logo, but I don't know. It just feels weird. Like, if you were Sonic, like, I know plenty of Sonics fans being out here, they will not root for Oklahoma City. Like, they just won't. They just, it's like, they will root for Portland before they will root for Oklahoma City. Like, they can't.
I want to know if there's still some Rams fans up in St. Louis.
Oh yeah, there has to be, right? I mean, there was a generation of St. Louis Rams fans that was born. I mean, imagine you were born in like 1997, so all you've known your whole life was Rams. But
technically they have to be happy because all she did was leave the marriage for a minute and then came back.
Yeah.
True. So it's kind of like, but to be fair though, we didn't know. We didn't know the Rams was going to end up back in LA. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But so that is a cold thing. Like,
and St. Louis can't really cry because they stole a team from LA. So, you know, I mean, so I get it. I understand. It's interesting. I've always had these discussions. Like, I've always wondered, like, damn, would I really be able to root? Like, again, I'm a Jets fan. Like, would I really be able to root for the Jets if they left and went to fucking, name a city like Portland? I keep bringing up Portland. I just can't.
You keep bringing up Portland like a bug. What about the Memphis Jets?
Nah, man. Because another thing like that is like, can I see myself even being in Memphis to root for my team in a situation? Like, I became a Laker fan. So this is the quick synopsis of how I became a Laker fan, right? So I grew up in New York, and I've always I like the Knicks. Like, I like the Knicks. I want to see them do well. I would consider myself a casual Knicks fan. Like, I like the Knicks. I hope they do. But my love, so the way I explain it to people, because the first time you say that to people are like, oh, you root for two teams? My first love was the Knicks. My wife, who I married, who I go through my trials and tribulations with, is the Lakers. And the reason I became a Laker fan is dead ass because I was young. I was looking for a team to root for. I always loved the colors. And Nick Van Exel, when he was drafted by the Lakers, was my dude. So when we had Nick the Quick, I became a Laker fan. And then, of course, we got Shaq. And then the rest was history. So ever since then, I was a Laker fan. And then my favorite player got drafted, Kobe, and it was just a natural progression of things. Now, mind you, I was like 9 years old, so I didn't, like you said, it doesn't take a lot of thought to become a fan of a team. Like, I became a Met fan because my dad was a Met fan. Like,
exactly.
So it just was natural that I rooted for the Mets. I became a Duke fan because, no lie, I watched them on TV as a kid. Coming, literally after they won back-to-back championships in 91 and 92. I watched Duke was always on TV, so I became a Duke fan. Same thing with Nebraska football, like Nebraska Cornhuskers. Like, I rooted for Nebraska because, I'm a Nebraska Cornhusker fan. Like, proud.
I did not know that. I did not know that at all.
Yeah, I'm a Nebraska Cornhusker fan. I rooted for Nebraska because, watching them on TV, they was always great. Under Tom Osborne, you know what I'm saying? They won 3 championships in 4 years. Like, so, as a kid, you don't know any better. One
of my favorite college players of all time played for Nebraska.
Who is it?
Eric Crouch.
Okay.
That is my guy.
That's a hell of a guy to pick. You know what I mean? Yeah. I came in at the tail end, so I started rooting for Nebraska really at the tail end of the Tommy Frazier era. But so that was always my guy. But yeah, I've been with Nebraska ever since, man. So I mean, it's when you coming up as a fan, you find silly reasons to become a fan. Like, there's no science to this shit. Like, people act like, oh, I became a fan because there's no not science to this. Like, you root for them as a kid.
Manny, if we being transparent, my 2 second favorite teams after, and I shouldn't use the word favorite because I don't really, I care about them, but I don't. Meaning I love their history, but I'm not a diehard fan. I like the Knicks and I like the Bulls.
Okay.
For obvious reasons, though. You know, Scottie Pippen is one of my favorite players. And I just love the Knicks playoff basketball, period.
But you live and die with the Lakers. Like, that's your thing.
Live and
like,
die with the Lakers.
Live and die. Like, that's, exactly. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. I live and die with the Lakers. And I have one of my best friends is like always ragging me because I root for the Knicks and the Lakers. Oh, well, what you going to do when the Knicks and the Lakers play? Well, I'm going to root for the Lakers. Like, of course. Like, why is this such a hard thing? Like, of course, I'm going to root for the Lakers. Like, I'm not going to
I got a confession. Man. Back in the day, you know, when the Lakers, you know, ran into Portland.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted Scottie to get that ring.
Oh, come on, son. Come on.
I did because I hate Jordan fans.
I never liked Scottie.
Oh, you didn't like Scottie?
I've always hated Scottie Pippen, dog. I've always maybe it's because I still hold it against him how he did my man Pat.
Oh yeah,
with that dunk. But I've just never ever liked Scottie Pippen. Matter of fact, I think he's overrated. But that's a whole nother.
We're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna touch that. We're not gonna touch that right now because that's like a 3-hour podcast in itself. But but yeah, I've never been a Scottie Pippen fan. So I don't know about that one. You on your own on that one, bro. You on your own island on that one.
No doubt.
Nah, but I just kind of circling back to it. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if one of my teams like left for a city. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I could talk all this shit now about, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't root for them, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what my mind would be like. I would just be like, damn. I guess it depends on the circumstance. Like, it depends on how they left. If it was like, the city won't build them a stadium and they had to do what they had to do, I guess I'm open to it. If it was like on some Seattle,
on some ownership bullshit, like, they might want a new stadium and they forcing cats to, chip out on it, and the city is not budging. So they like, forget it. We going to Jersey or we going to Pittsburgh. Like that, you know.
Yeah. It depends on the situation. Now, if it was like if it was on some Ursay shit where you left in the middle of the night, Mayflower Trucks is leaving the city in the middle of the night after you promised everybody you wasn't leaving, and you basically sneak out of the city of Baltimore, in the middle of the night, like that's different. Like, or like even the Seattle thing. Like I just got out here when Seattle was leaving, right? And the way they did the Sonics was so dirty. But I kind of feel like people was kind of should have seen it coming, because a dude from Oklahoma, a businessman from Oklahoma City bought a Seattle Sonics. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they did them so dirty. Like, because my man did interviews, conference calls with season ticket holders saying, we're not leaving, double down on it, especially after they drafted Durant, like, we're not leaving. He's the cornerstone, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And Howard Schultz, who was a Seattle guy, Starbucks owner, CEO, and knew that was their plans from the start and let it happen. And the way they did Seattle was dirty. So I can see if you're a Seattle person, like, nah, I'm not fucking with Oklahoma City. Like, I'm just not. Like, I just can't.
That's why every time they have a chance to talk about it, they throw out that Seattle name, because they already know.
Seattle's definitely getting a team.
I thought they were talking about the Kings at one point.
The Kings was close. The Kings was close. And Kevin Johnson came in at the last minute. Mayor of Seattle came in and saved them. So that's essentially, they was literally like on the 11th hour of going to Seattle. So, but I think the Pelicans are going to be the team that relocates, because they're not going to survive New Orleans. I just don't think. Yeah, New Orleans. I mean, it was stupid for the NBA, and that was one of the issues David Stern had. One of the missteps David Stern had was trying to get a team to New Orleans. Like, New Orleans is a football town. They're not supporting basketball. They don't care about basketball.
I got two. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, New Orleans is like last in revenue and ticket sales and everything. Like, it just in media in media coverage, it's a bad basketball town.
Well, all the money is going towards the football team and basically the football programs in general out there. It's a football.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got two questions about that. I got two questions, though. The first one would be, so if the Pelicans go to Seattle, what we do with the history?
Essentially the Pelicans really have no history outside of 2004, because the Hornets history got granted back to them when they got the name and everything. So they really technically only have history covering New Orleans. So, and then the Jazz retained the New Orleans history, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever. So, and this is where this stuff gets shady, obviously. But I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the history just kind of is in the archives, man. I mean, realistically, because Seattle's going to have Seattle retains their history, so they retain the name and the logo and everything. So I think once Seattle gets approved, the city, I think Seattle probably slides Oklahoma City like a couple $100 million. Probably not that much, but probably slides them a little envelope like, yo, can we have our history back in Oklahoma City? Like, yeah, whatever. Like, go ahead. And Seattle keeps their history.
Well, we need Seattle back, so let's put that in the air. Second question is, so, you know, you like the Mets. Just found out you like them. Well, as far as college ain't going nowhere. But you like the Mets. You like the Lakers. The Lakers is not going anywhere. And the Jets. So you got to take the Lakers out of it because you know the Lakers are not going anywhere.
Right.
If the Jets and or the Mets was to leave on a shady note, how do you recover from that? Do you pick another team? How long would it take for you to pick another team, or do you just leave it at that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. And I hate to give you that I don't know answer, but I don't know. It's like,
no, I mean, because it's literally like getting a divorce. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
You don't want to come back in that dating.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, it's definitely like that. I don't know, man. Like I said, that's a good question. I got to give you that one. That's a good question because I don't know. I don't know what I would do. And I'm always we're two fans that's passionate about the teams that we root for. So it's not easy. Like right now, if UCLA football and basketball programs were to shut down, I'm not about to sit up here and skip across town and be like, I'm a USC fan. I absolutely hate their basketball. That definitely not happening. Like that's the one thing I will tell you. Like if the Mets left on some shady circumstances, and I told myself I'm not going to be a Mets fan ever, wherever they go, I'm definitely not following the Yankees. Like hell no, that's fraudulent. Fuck no, like hell no. So I could assure you that one. I think to answer your question, man, I think right now, today, present day, Manny, I would probably root for him. But I don't know. Like I said, ask me this question if it ever happens, then that's a different category. You know what I mean? But
hopefully it never does.
Yeah, it never does, man. Because that shit, it must be tough and it must suck too. And I hate to see it for like communities too, man. Because it's like, damn, you grow up, you're enshrined with a team, and then it's like. It's ingrained in your system and a community, and it's like they leave. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like a slap in the face, man. And I grew up in New York, so there's people that's still a bitter about the Dodgers and Giants league. Like a lot of that generation, you know, unfortunately is you know starting to die out. But there's still people that hate the Dodgers and Giants. It's not as much as it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely like I had a teacher, right, who was like 10 years old when the Dodgers and Giants left. And at the time he was telling me this story, right? He said to that day, like his father, who was a big Dodgers fan, grew up in Brooklyn and everything, like he just despised the Dodgers. Like swore off the Dodgers, like, you know, just want nothing to do with that damn team. So I get it. That shit are, you know, people harbor some ill will. So that, I mean, if you go to Cleveland, like, yo, they hate Art Modell. They hate that man. That's the reason he hasn't even gotten in the Hall of Fame. Because you think about Art Modell's his career and all the things, like he basically built the modern NFL. Like he came up with the TV idea. He's the one that gave Rozelle the ideas for how to do the TV model. Right. You know, the games at 1 o'clock or 4. I mean, so he's basically like the curator of modern NFL history. You know what I'm saying? And he's in the Hall of Fame. And a lot of people think it's because of the move out of Cleveland. Like, yo, you moved the Browns out of Cleveland. Like, that's blasphemous. Yeah. That's blasphemous, man. But I also understand where Art Modell was coming, because Art Modell was like, yo, you gave the Indians a stadium. You know, the Cavaliers got a new arena, but you ain't give me a stadium? Like, what we doing here? Right. So, yeah, I get it, man. I definitely get it. So to wrap this up, next season, you're going to be, well, not next season, 2 seasons from now, you're going to be all gun-ho, ready to go in your Las Vegas Raiders gear. Yeah, man, it's going to take some time to get used to it, because I'm so used to silver and black, and now they're talking about gold, and I'm like, come on, man. Oh, shit, I didn't know about this. This is news. Hold on. See, this is why I like having, you know, different guests on every week. So this is news now. They talk about gold?
Yeah, they talking about adding gold to it. I don't think they're removing the silver, but I think they're adding the gold, and it's pissing me off, man.
Nah, you can't do that. See, this is already now. It's pissing me off, and I hate the Raiders, but this is pissing me off now. Like, come on, you can't.
The stadium is coming along. It's looking dope. Hell, I mean, even the Rams and the Chargers stadium is looking dope. It's coming along. So,
but you can't be adding color. You can't be adding colors to see. Like, to me, like, all right. A lot, Jarv get on me all the time because he fucking thinks I'm just an old man at heart. But I'm a traditionalist. Like, you can't be adding colors to that. Just like there's certain uniforms that are just legacy. Like, you can't.
Yeah, you gotta leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it with that. Like, I hate the damn advertisement on NBA jerseys. Like, I hate it. I cannot stand it. That shit is hideous to me. I hate it. That's the worst decision Adam Silver could have made, was allowed that shit. Like, to me, you don't mess with that. Like, oh, they do the same thing in soccer overseas. Like, well, this ain't fucking soccer. So, this ain't Messi playing in the NBA right now. Like, nah, leave that shit alone.
Comes down to that bread, though, man. You know what it is.
I get it. I understand. Everything is about money. I understand it, but it's just, I don't know. I'm a traditionalist in that sense. So I definitely I don't like teams that change their uniforms all the time. I get in certain situations it's warranted. But I don't like the uniform changes, the constant uniform changes. And then that's like the Packers saying, oh, instead of the yellow and green, we're going to add purple. What?
Yeah, that ain't going to work.
Yeah, nah, you can't do that. So I hope they don't add the gold to the Raiders outfit, because that shit'll be weird. Like, you can't do that.
We'll see. I mean, if we get if we protest, we'll see what can happen.
Who's going to protest? The Oakland fans, the Oakland fans, or the Las Vegas fans?
I mean, actually, that shit. The majority of the Las Vegas fans is going to be LA fans.
Yeah, basically.
That's all that's out there anyway. Majority of Las Vegas is LA cat.
I'm with you though. I don't understand why that move didn't happen. Like, I don't even remember what the circumstances was why that move didn't happen. Because it just seems
Jerry Jones had a lot to do with it.
His hating ass. Fucking Jerry Jones. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's definitely gonna be interesting, and it's gonna be interesting this year. Like, it's gonna feel like you gotta. I know you said that they're not gonna leave and they're not gonna not show up, but you gotta admit it's definitely gonna be interesting to be walking around Oakland next year, and it's Oakland's last year. But maybe they're used to it. They're also used to it too. Yeah. So
yeah. I still feel bad for them,
and they losing all their teams because the Warriors are going across the bay.
Yep. But it ain't got nothing to do with me. Well, I don't have a love-hate relationship with the Warriors. I don't really care, but so they got to deal with that. As far as Oakland, I've been a Raiders fan since I was born, so I share that pain with them. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been knowing, like I said, majority of my fanship or whatever has been with Oakland. I was just a little kid when they was in LA. So, I feel like pain on that one.
That's crazy, man. That's definitely crarazy.
They still got the sorry-ass Niners, though. So
yeah, and even the Niners don't even play in their damn city. They play in Santa Clara. So, it's weird. It's the whole, we can do a whole podcast on cities and teams and stadiums and where teams play and all that.
Hey, UCLA is in Westwood, and they play in Pasadena.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a Jet fan, and we're in New Jersey. And we share a stadium with the Giants. So make it make sense. God, make it make sense. But I brought up the Warriors. I guess is a good segue, man. Obviously, game 2 tonight. Warriors even up the series. What are your thoughts on this series so far? Has everything kind of played out the way you figured so far through? I know it's only just been 2 games, but has everything kind of played out the way that you imagined?
Well, yeah. Me and Jarv we text about last week or something like that. And I told him, I said I had them in 5. He said, there's no way that Golden State is going to win, 4 games in a row. And
Jarv said that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, but he said it'll go, 6 games. He's respecting Toronto, and I get it. At the same time, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto continued to play like how they played last series, and of course in the first game. Like, these cats is showing that they could literally beat them. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be no dummy. Until you beat Golden State is gonna win. I'm just gonna put it like that. So put some respect on Draymond's name in the finals alone. Okay, Clay, he disappears and he pops up sometimes. I would have to say he's been mediocre. He was mediocre. Clay is Clay. Let's just put it like that. But he's my guy now because he called Aubrey a bum today. So
yes, absolutely.
That you're in my book for that one. I think we got to get a lot of respect to Kerr. Kerr is playing these young cats off the bench at the right moment, and he's putting a lot of because these cats don't have the experience like the last set of bench players that they had for Golden State. And he's strategically moving these cats in. He's giving them a lot of what do you call it? I can't think of the word right now.
He's giving them experience. He's giving them the
experience, but he's allowing them to build up confidence. There we go.
Yes,
he's allowing them to build up some confidence because they're messing up out there. They made some couple of mistakes, but he's not calling the timeouts. He's letting these cats run. And again, man, Draymond Green, bro, like, come on, man. Swiss Army knife.
And it's amazing, like, how many people underrate the value of Draymond Green because I think we live in a society, and this is one of the things that I hate about sports now, where we just measure everything by the stat sheet. Like, everything is the stat sheet. The stat sheet. What did he do? Oh my God, he scored 35 points. Oh my God, he scored 35 points. Like, I always talk about that. Like, we're so entranced on stat sheets and what a guy's how many points this guy scored. I mean, but you got to watch the game. You got to see the intangibles, the things that don't get measured on the stat sheet. Like, I said, me and Jarv get into this all the time. We get into arguments about James Harden. And I told him, I was like, some of the greatest performances I've seen in basketball were guys that didn't have probably the biggest scoring nights, but they dominated the game in so many different ways that it just goes beyond numbers. And that's what Draymond is. Like Draymond, and I'm not saying that Draymond is a great player in that traditional sense. Like, obviously, if you put Draymond on the Knicks or the Knicks, a 50-win team, no. But Draymond is the perfect complement to a superstar because Draymond does all the dirty work. He does the intangibles. He guards. He defends multiple positions. He brings an energy, a toughness, a leadership quality in a lot of ways that a lot of guys just don't. He's that missing link that, to me, if you put Draymond on Portland's a finals team. Like, if you put Draymond on Houston's a finals team. But he's just that guy. He's that missing ingredient that I think a lot of teams need. And I think people underrate him because he doesn't go out there and he scores 35 points or, he's not the biggest or the fastest or, he's out there walking around with roided up muscles or anything like that. Like, so people kind of underrate him and just be like, oh, this dude, or he's not all that or whatever. And the dude is a monster, man. Like, the dude is a beast, man. He does so many different things to help that team win that it's amazing.
And he came straight out of Michigan State doing the same thing that he was doing at Michigan State. It's just that it was elevated to another level because he was, doing it with two of the greatest shooters that we've ever seen. He was in a great, he came into a great system. And again, it's not fair to compare him or to put him out there as if we're trying to compare him to a superstar or a star even.
No.
Again, if we put him on Atlanta or something like that, he might not flourish as much.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
He's built to play around certain players in a certain system. But at the same time, don't take away from his skill set and his knowledge of the game and how he plays it. His IQ is crazy. I don't need him to drop 30, 35 points a game. Give me 17, 11, and 9.
Yep.
Not only that, he's playing defense. You know what I'm saying? And it's when he's putting up those stat numbers during the game. Intangibles is not on the stat sheet. And if it was, he would probably have a triple-double every game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And he's one of the few NBA guys that can dominate a game with only scoring 2 points. Like, he can instantly dominate a game without scoring 2 points because the way he defends, the way he rebounds, his toughness, what he brings to that team. I mean, it's amazing, man. It goes without saying. And I think people are finally starting to get an appreciation for Draymond because I think even the last couple of years, it was always like, he was known more for his antics and things of that nature that I think people now are finally starting to see like, oh, this guy's actually like, he's actually good at basketball. Like, yeah, no shit.
But let me ask you a question, a personal question about players who talk a lot or players who put on these antics and things like that. Does that really bother you? Because it doesn't with me. Like, to the point where we have to sit up there and complain about players, the way they act, the way they talk. I'm a huge LeVar Ball fan. Okay? And it's because of his personality. I grew up around it. Whether you believe him or not, like, This shit is either funny to me, and it's even better when they back it up. Draymond, the way he talks, the way he acts, it doesn't bother me because I know he can actually go out there and hoop. So if he can go out there and get the job done and talk back at you, come on, bro. That's why I said what Clay said about Drake was funny to me because Clay yo, bro, it only take me about 11 or less dribbles, and I can still get 40.
Facts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it doesn't bother me. I mean, I guess it depends on the level of it. Like, as much as I love Draymond, I think there has been times where his talk and his attitude and his antics have gotten the best of him in that team. Case in point, 2016. Like, had he just behaved himself and been smarter, like the Warriors win that series.
That's true. I can understand that, but
so I think
about as far as if he said something in the press conference or something like that, that doesn't really bother me. Now, true indeed, he needs to control his act on the court because he's probably the most valuable piece.
And I think he's finally starting to realize that because I think if you notice this year and this playoffs especially, like you've seen a much more toned down Draymond. Like, and I think he said it in interviews.
He had to because their main player is out.
Well, that too, and I think also that comes with maturity and age, and I think he understands like, yo, I gotta calm down. You know what I'm saying? I can't be doing crazy wild shit like this no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like at some point, like it just, you know, as all of us do, we all age, we mature. You know, with more time and more years comes more experience and wisdom. So, you know, I'll give him some of that too. But yeah, it doesn't bother me. I think it only bothers me when you don't win. That's the only time it doesn't bother. Like with me, like everybody loves Russell Westbrook and his attitude and his swagger and all that. It bothers me because Russell Westbrook doesn't win.
That's true. And shout out to Jarvis. Jarvis getting a lot of. Jarvis got a.
Yeah, Jarvis getting a lot of unnecessary plugs on this show right now.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of gray area talk going on with Jarvis.
Shout out to the gray area, though, man.
No, because I'm a Westbrook fan. And I get it. He plays hard. But again, at the same time, like I was trying to explain to Jarvis, y'all setting him up that high. See, he didn't fail for me because I don't look at him like y'all look at him. You know what I'm saying? Do I think he's a dope player? Yes. Do I think he's a superstar? Yes. But he's not the cat that I'm going to give the ball to lead my team.
But don't say y'all. Say the media. Say the media. Well, the media is the one that has put him on this pedestal.
But when do we care about what the media say?
But the media control.
But you know Stephen A. gets out of control. You know Max get out of control. All them cats get out of control sometimes. And they I get that. They do it for clickbait.
Yeah, they do it for clickbait and they do it for ratings. I get that. I understand that. But that comes with the territory though. Like the media drives narratives. People don't want to admit it, but they do. They drive narratives. They drive the conversation. So Russell Westbrook, and I think the worst thing that happened to Russell Westbrook was Durant leaving and the NBA world basically feeling sorry for him. You know, because essentially that following year, that MVP campaign, you know, the triple-double year, the first triple-double year, you know, that was basically a big, poor Westbrook. Durant left him. What an evil man Durant is. Look at Westbrook. He's loyal. Oh, look at this. And I think people kind of got sucked into this, you know, to this narrative that, you know, Westbrook is this, you know, he's great. See, look at him. He's great. He can do all the things that Durant can do, you know, and he's loyal and all this other things. And then I think people kind of started to see like now, like, yo, this dude really has some issues in his game. He can't shoot. I don't think he makes guys better. And I think his demeanor and his attitude is an issue. Like, dude, you can be that guy when you win, but when you constantly a first round flame out, like how you gonna sit there after a game and sit there and no questions, don't ask me that? And I get it. He has a problem with that said reporter, a reporter who's well respected. Like it just bothers me. And then Paul George to be out there caping with him too, like on some follower shit. Like, it just bothers me, man. Like the whole Westbrook thing.
That made the city look bad. You know what I'm saying? That made the city look bad, and they were real sour. I love the rivalry between them. I'm in the group chat with some of my closest friends, and I'm one of 6 that picked Dame over him a while ago. And this was actually before his first triple-double run, and they asked who's a better point guard out of Dame and Westbrook, and I picked Dame. And yeah, I got flamed for.
I did too because I picked him. I picked him for years that I thought Dame was better as a better point guard. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, sometimes it takes a while for the truth to come out. But as we've seen, you know, it happens.
Well, damn if it didn't come out.
I think they was paying more attention to the stats rather than looking at the fact that Dame has been leading his own team since he came into the league, and Westbrook has always been partnered up with the Spiders. So, I don't pay attention to the media like that. We know what they're trying to do.
I don't pay attention to him either. I do. I agree. I don't pay attention to him as much, but it's just essentially but I also pay attention to Westbrook wants to be considered among the greats of all time. He wants to be on that pantheon of greats. And these athletes don't understand. You want to be up there with the Jordans and the Larry Birds and the Magic, then you have to win. That's what comes with that. But see, they want to be up there. They want the adoration and they want the bouquets thrown at them constantly. But when you don't meet expectations, you're going to get criticized. That's just par for the course. And these athletes act like they don't understand this. It's that comes
that's why,
that expectation.
That's why shortly after it happened, I was no longer mad, and that's the whole KD move. He felt like he was in a situation where he wasn't going to be able to win. He went to a franchise that probably didn't need him, but at the same time was the best fit for him to win. I don't care about Cat. I appreciate it, and I would like the league to spread out the superstars and things like that and see cats try to carry their own team. But at the same time, personally, these cats want to sit at the same table when they retire and say, this championship run and that championship run and things like that, and don't end up like a Patrick Ewing and don't end up like a Charles Barkley. I don't care about the move anymore. He did what he had to do. He actually came to Golden State and actually played his ass off, got, finals MVP. What more can you say? Now he got something to talk about. He's probably about to pass Bron. Most likely
if not already.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So come on, man. You said, you got to win.
I get that. My only thing with that is that I think these guys took that and they went overboard with it. You know what I'm saying? With the whole super team aspect of it. Because I think it does hurt the team. I think it does hurt the league. I really do. I think it does hurt the league. I think it hurts. It's a bad look for the league when your stars aren't spread out. It's a bad look for the league when, the NBA has never been about parity. The Lakers and the Celtics have more than half of the damn championships won in the NBA in history. So it's the league has never been about parity. I get that. But there has to be at least a little bit of parity. There needs to be a little bit of predictability to it. You can't go into a season basically saying 2 teams have a chance to win a championship. 2 or 3 teams at most have a chance to win a championship. It's a bad look. And you don't get that in other sports. Like in baseball, you know what I'm saying? You don't get that. In football, everybody knows the Patriots, but even outside of the Patriots, there's 5 or 6 other teams that can have a legitimate shot to make a Super Bowl run. You don't have that in the NBA. It's the Warriors and whoever gets to the East. And in the last couple of years, it was basically the Warriors and LeBron.
Right. But the thing is, then you have to point. You got to point your finger at LeBron because
he started. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. You can't be mad at KD and then be accepting of LeBron. LeBron started it. He made it okay. When LeBron, the standard bearer of the NBA, said it's okay for me to leave my current city, my city, the place where he was from. I know he's from Akron. I get it, but you know what I mean. And go to one of my contemporaries' own cities to try to win a championship. The cat was out of the bag already. You know what I'm saying? What can you tell Anthony Davis? What can you tell some other cat that's I want to go play with my boys. I want to have a super team and I want to win. If LeBron do it, why can I? The cat is out of the bag already. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then the problem starts where the problem begins where everybody builds off of the next super team. You build this team to beat Bron and technically shout out to Pop because he did it the right way. He did it his way. But then Golden State actually did it the right way.
I was just about to say that. This misnomer that's out there that the Warriors are this creation, that the super team creation. No, they're not. Durant is the only creation. The Warriors built this team the right way, and they built it with Steph was the 7th pick in the draft. Clay was later in the lottery. Draymond was a 2nd round pick. It's not like they did it with 3 straight number 1 picks. That's the crazy thing about it. They actually developed these guys.
And let's keep it real though. I'm gonna keep it one thing. I watched college basketball and I watched the pros. I watched Draymond's career. I didn't watch not one game of Clay in college. I'm a Pac-12 guy.
I saw him
one game.
I saw him twice in college, and that's because my boy at the time was telling me, yo, this dude from Washington State can ball. And that's the only reason I saw Clay. And I was like, yeah, he could, good shooter, you know what I mean? He could score. And then I think I saw him because he, you know, if you don't remember, Clay got popped for a weed test in college too. So there was some news and notes about him, you know, in college. But outside of that, like, yeah, I get it. I mean, he wasn't a superstar like that in college. You know what I'm saying? You had to be a college basketball connoisseur to even know who Klay Thompson was in college.
Or a cat that just watched, you know, that particular college. But
a Cougars fan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did watch Curry. You know, and the main reason why I watched Curry because he had caught a buzz during the season where I seen two cats doubling him the full length of the court. So I'm like, yo, and then when I found out who his dad was, et cetera, and we all know what happened when he got in the tournament.
Yes.
Man, you remember what happened?
That 2008 tournament run was one of the greatest performances by any one singular. And I've been watching college basketball, you know, when I was old enough to actually understand since the late 90s. That was one of the best runs I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? That dude dominated. And he was dominating on jump shots. And this is before the league, the game had changed. You know, he was dominating on jump shots, B. Like, and yeah, it was amazing. So Steph, but I mean, but going back to the point, like people act like the Warriors are the super team that was created by free agency and all that. Like, no, Durant was just Durant was the ice cream that was added to, you know, was the dessert that was added to the full course meal. Like this was built by smart drafting, developing, a little bit of luck, because you also got to remember Steph signed a team friendly, probably the friendliest team deal ever, because they weren't sure about his ankles. You know, he signed a 4-year, $44 million contract extension. Like, people forget this. Like, these are all things that have happened that led to this point now. So, you know, remember when Andre Iguodala was the big free agent signing, was the guy that was going to spearhead their turnaround? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so these have all been a pattern of moves that have happened to set this team up to be where they are right now. And then, of course, Durant was just unfair. It was a cheat code. Like, they didn't really need him. You know what I'm saying? The funny thing is, it doesn't get suspended. I still say this to this day. They win that series. Yeah, they know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Look, and if they didn't know then, you're seeing it now, though. You're seeing this is a very valuable piece, bro. Like, come on, man. We said that as soon as he got the check, I'm like, yeah, if I don't know, and then he even had a great game 7.
Yeah, he had a great game 7, but momentum is a hell of a thing. You know it. All that Cleveland team needed was to win game 5 and the belief that they could beat those dudes. And the other thing that wasn't brought up when the people talk about the Warriors choking, Bogut was out too. That was their starter. Yeah. They lost their. So think about it. In one fell swoop, they lost their starting center and the starting power forward. Mm-hmm. And then you gave the best player in the world at that time momentum. Come on, man. Like, come on. Like, do the math here. Like, you know what I mean? Do the math. So, it's interesting when people kind of look at the Warriors. But I don't, you know, even with all this, I don't think the Warriors are as hated as other dynasties. Like, I think people hate Durant, but I don't think they hate the Warriors. I think people have an appreciation for the Warriors. I mean, you're always going to have your idiots on Twitter that just say nonsense. I mean, but you can't control that. That's just Twitter. I mean, if Twitter was around back in the 90s.
I was going to say, I think they hate the individual players rather than the whole brand, the whole team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I think it's more hate on the players. But how can you hate Klay though? Like, Klay is like Klay.
You know, my argument against Klay has always been, you know, because my homeboys would say we had an argument about who would you rather give the max to, and this was before Jimmy Butler had went to Philly. Jimmy Butler or Klay. And we had this huge argument. We were in Vegas, and I'm like, bro, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not paying to go see Klay. I'm not.
Are you paying to go see Jimmy Butler?
Probably not, but I will probably pay Jimmy before I pay Klay. And I said it as a number one option. Not just now, if he comes along and he's a second or third option, I'm cool with that. But running a team and drafting a player first, I'm not drafting Klay first. I'm not. Okay, so I think you're out of your mind. Well, I will go back to that chat. You're out of your mind for that. But do you still feel that way now? Drafting him first?
If you had if the NBA draft was today and the top 2 players were Jimmy Butler or Klay Thompson, who are you taking?
I'm taking Jimmy Butler.
You crazy as fuck.
Jimmy Butler? You seen Jimmy Butler work in Chicago, and you seen his work in Philly. You haven't seen Clay outside of Golden State, outside of Curry, outside of KD, outside of Cursus.
Come on now. You talking about strictly as a basketball player? You telling me that Jimmy Butler is a better? You telling me that Jimmy Butler is a better basketball player than Klay Thompson?
Overall, yeah. Clay is just a better shooter. That's it.
Come on. I would argue he's a better defender.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I'll give you that. But it's not by a landslide.
Like it's not. I mean, look, I like Jimmy Butler a lot. I think Jimmy Butler has an overinflated opinion of himself. Like I think Jimmy Butler thinks he's a superstar when he's not. Like I think Jimmy Butler's a very good player. I think he's a guy that he's a perfect number 2, 3 option, but he's not a superstar. Like I think here's the thing. Like I think Klay on another team, I think people would be surprised how nasty Klay is. I think Klay is fine with it. Like I think Klay is a guy that doesn't have an ego in the sense that I think he's cool with that. Like I think Klay is happy being the Robin of Steph Curry's Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's happy with that. But
I think Klay is who actually I think he was supposed to be what Kawhi is to me technically, but I don't think he has that. I wouldn't
say he doesn't have it. I just think that he hasn't been put in a position where he has to have had it. You know what I mean? Like I think it's different.
So you think he can carry the team?
I don't know. We've never seen that situation. I think if you put a gun to my head, yeah, I think he can.
Ooh, wait.
I think so. But again, it's one of those questions that's hard to answer because we've never seen Klay in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like we've never seen it. But I also think because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that's like saying, oh, we know for a fact aliens don't exist. I don't know that for a fact. I know I ain't never seen no goddamn UFOs in front of my goddamn house.
I know it's at the bottom of that ocean that we ain't never seen before.
Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. But no, I mean, I think it's a hard question to answer because again, like you said, we've seen Jimmy Butler in those situations and I just don't think Jimmy Butler's that guy. Like I think Jimmy Butler has an overinflated opinion of himself. Like I think Jimmy Butler thinks he's on that level. I don't think Jimmy Butler actually is on that level. Plus Jimmy Butler's a guy that has wrecked 3 locker rooms essentially.
Hey, Jimmy Butler is a dude that passed out his cell number, and I did call it. I did call it.
Oh man, but man, just look. I think Klay is an outstanding basketball player, man. The things that he does, and he's another guy that I think he's completely underrated too, because I think he's, he gets overshadowed by Steph, he gets overshadowed by Durant. In a lot of ways, he kind of gets overshadowed by Draymond and the antics and whatnot that I think people kind of don't appreciate Klay. I think they just think, oh, he's just a shooter. Dog, this man scored 50 points on 4 dribbles.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On 4 dribbles, B. Like, come on. I ain't never seen Jimmy Butler do that. As good as Jimmy Butler is, I've never seen Jimmy Butler. I know it's not fair. They're 2 different types of players. I get it. But still, I don't know, man. You on your own on that one, on that Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson discussion. Although, you may not be. There's a lot of people that feel like you, that they think Jimmy Butler's probably better. I think if you put Jimmy Butler on this Warriors team and you put Klay Thompson, you substitute Jimmy for Klay Thompson, I don't think this Warriors team is that good. I really don't.
I can see that, but we're talking about system and things like that. He would have to
change his game. Yeah.
Like you said, Klay is that dude that's like, look, I'll sit in the back seat and I'll take one for the team. I know she's a big one, but I got to do this for the homies. So I get that, but I'm talking about as far as overall talent, I guess you can call him the second or third best shooter of all time.
Klay? Yeah. You could definitely. He's in the top 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'll give it to the Splash Brothers. I mean, you're going to throw Ray up there and you're going to throw Reggie up there and Bird. But those cats, as far as pure shots, nobody's coming close to them except for Jason Capono.
Yeah. And Dan Marley. And Dan Marley. Dan Marley's another. Thunder Dan was another forgotten shooter.
Yeah.
Thunder Dan was that dude. So where do you see this game? Where do you see this series going, man? Like, what do you? I gotta keep
my original pick. I said go to Stadium 5.
Yeah, just a little bit more analysis on tonight. I thought Toronto blew a golden opportunity, man. I really do. I think they had Golden State on the ropes, especially in that first quarter. I said it on Twitter. I was like, how is Toronto now up by 20 right now? Like they should. And I think Golden State caught a second life knowing that they were down by 5. Like, yo, as badly as we played, all the issues that we've had, and we're only down by 5, I think Toronto blew an excellent opportunity tonight. Like they had Golden State on the ropes for a second. And that's the thing. Like these teams don't understand, like, yo, to beat this team, like you got to play a full 48 minutes. Like you're not beating this team playing 30 minutes. You're not beating this team playing a good 15 minutes. No, you playing a full 48 minutes. I'm surprised how good Toronto's looked in this series so far. I got to be honest. I'll be honest with you. I didn't expect Toronto to come out and match Golden State basket for basket through the first 8 quarters of the series. So that's a good thing. I'm actually surprised by that. I still think, though, when push comes to shove, I think Golden State's better. I think they have more experience. I think and you just saw it tonight when Golden State got serious, when Golden State kind of ratcheted things up, Toronto couldn't match them. Now, I know people will say, well, they missed a lot of open shots that they usually would have made. Yeah, true. But, you know, I could also say in game 1, Siakam's not going to score. It's not going to have an 82% field goal percentage game again. Like I can also say that Fred VanVleet is balling out of his mind right now. Like Fred VanVleet, like somebody must have got into the 2K version of Fred VanVleet and raised all his attributes to like 95 because he's balling right now.
I think that's what happened. And the comparisons to him looking like Drake has probably got his ego a little bit up there.
Probably. It's that light skin thing. Yeah, it's that mixed light skin thing. It has to be. But yeah, he's balling. He's balling right now. And look, Toronto, and here's the thing. We all knew Golden State was going to win a game in Toronto. Can you honestly tell me Toronto's going to win a game in Golden State?
I don't think so.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
And I would go as far as saying that, you know, Golden State winning the second game would be a toss up if Toronto came out on fire like that again. You know what I'm saying? Because they actually played well. Because I'm one of the cats that said the title was coming west regardless. And I gave it to Golden State, but I said I don't care if Houston made it. Like the title was coming west. I just don't believe in the East teams like that. But Toronto surprised me. I'm not gonna lie to you; they surprised the hell out of me.
And I think the underrated move of this game was DeMarcus Cousins. Like I love that move by Kerr. I think he understood because I think quietly people talked about VanVleet. They talked about, Siakam and how he balled out. But Gasol had a hell of a game in game 1 too. And you notice that tonight Gasol's impact was neutralized with Cousins out there. Now I know Cousins is a defensive liability right now, especially if you put him in the high pick and rolls. But Cousins is a monster, man. He's a superstar. He's a guy that knows how to play the game of basketball. And you put him in that situation, and you can just tell he wants a ring. He wants it so bad. Like that's a guy that you just want out there because he wants it so bad, and he gives them another guy that can score. You know what I'm saying? Especially in situations like Toronto, because Toronto's a hell of a defensive team. He gives them another guy that can score, and especially in the half court. So I thought that was an underrated move, starting Cousins, and Cousins played well. He rewarded him. So I just think Toronto had their chance to really make this series interesting. Now, look, Toronto can come out there in game 3 and win, and then we have a different series. I get it. I understand that. But right now, I think it's hard to say Golden State doesn't have the advantage right now.
You sending some money? You sending some money to Vegas on that pick? It's a lot of bread you can win.
I'm not a gambling man, but I will say this: that if I was, I'd be betting on this is what I will say. Through 8 quarters right now, I think this is a 6-game series. I think you will see Golden State go back to Toronto 3-1. I think Toronto will find a way to win game 5. And then I think Golden State closes them out in game 6. I mean, I'm not saying anything new. I think most people probably had this as a 5 or 6 game series. Initially, before the ball was tipped on Thursday night, I thought Golden State was going to sweep them. That was just me. But now watching the two teams play, it's definitely a 6-game series. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 5-game series.
I think I'll say that. I think it's going to end in Toronto in front of Drake. I'm going to laugh. Well, you know what? To go. I wanted to say one thing about Cousins. So one thing that we gotta realize is that the big guy, as slow as he is, he can handle that rock.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to break down that defense, that's a key thing right there. Because now everybody can set up in their spot while he goes to work. And it was a couple of plays where he actually broke down the defense and kicked it out.
Like, that's an underrated aspect of Boogie Cousins' game. Like, he's a good passer. Like, people forget that.
Yeah. So, like, you're right. That was a good move. He is a defensive liability because it was a gang of times cats got to the rim and he just looked at him. but at the same time, going back to the series, I don't think you think Toronto has so much energy. That crowd has so much energy because they've never been there, you know. And I think they're the newest franchise, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
No. Besides OKC. Well,
yeah. You're right. OKC.
But technically, Toronto is an expansion team, though, right?
Well, yeah, true, because OKC is technically Seattle. It goes to that damn history thing. Yeah. So essentially, yeah, you're right. You were right the first time.
Yeah, so they had built up energy and things like that, and it's crazy. It's about to get real ignorant in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, especially the last few games in that arena's history. So that's going to be extra special for them. Mm-hmm. And I think if Golden State is 40 minutes away from a championship, I don't think they're going to let Toronto out of their sights.
Yeah, I think it's going to end like they did Houston.
You might be right, man. You might be right. Now thinking about it, you might be right. If Golden State can smell a championship in 40 minutes, they may not let Toronto out of their sights, man. Tonight was a big thing. Like tonight was a huge loss for Toronto. Like,
it's champagne. It's champagne in Cleveland still.
They do like closing out championships on the road. So yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah, Siakam has balled out too in this series, and another thing is Leonard hasn't really had a dominant series just yet either.
A dominant series? You don't think he dominated the Philly ones?
No, I'm saying he hasn't had a dominant series this series.
Oh, this series. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, he hasn't. I mean, he's been good. And statistically, he's been okay, but I don't think he's been the Kawhi Leonard we've seen against Philly or against Milwaukee. I don't think he's been doubled most of the time. So, that's played into it, but I just don't.
Doubled and extra work on defense.
Yeah, true. So that's another thing that's hurt Toronto too. Leonard hasn't really gone off on one of those Kawhi Leonard games, and that still may come because he's talented. So definitely keep that in mind. Siakam is a matchup problem for them. That's the one guy they don't really have an answer for. Siakam, his length bothers them a lot.
He really didn't show up this game though. He was really
but that's Siakam. That's the one thing about Siakam. He's still not great yet because he doesn't have the consistency down pat. Like it's like my man Chuck said. That's how you know a great player is a great player, when they consistently could do it over night in, night out. You know what I'm saying? Guys can have a great game for one night and disappear for 8 straight games. But when you consistently didn't do that, and I know nobody's going to shoot 82% from the field every night. I get that. But but show up every single night. And that's the one thing with Siakam. He's done that in the Philly series too. He had a good game and then he disappeared for 2-3 games and have a good game. So, but I can.
Well, but when you're relying on your backup point guard to come in and help you stay afloat, like that's not a good thing. And even though Chubbs, you know what I'm saying, he's been playing better than he has ever played.
He's finally earning his salary. Finally?
No, he still got. I think he got at least another playoff, a whole nother playoff to go to catch up to the money that he got. No, but man, I'm looking at the role players, and it's not looking good. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's out here dropping 34, 14, and 3. And then the next man in line is Van Vliet. I hate that last name, by the way. But 17 points coming off the bench, bro. Come on, man.
I mean, you could low key make the case that Van Vliet has been the best player in the series so far.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you really want to be out there, I mean, he's probably been the best. I know Kawhi had for Kawhi standards, had a quiet game 1. You know what I'm saying? And I know Siakam got most of the attention because of the points that he had. But Van Vliet has been killing them. So you can make the case. He's probably been the best Raptor in this series so far over 2 games.
Yeah, but they're not going to give it to him. He's going to be a third and a third place guy when it comes.
Yeah. No. I'm saying yeah. No, I get that. But yeah, no, it's going to be. I will say this series has been a lot more interesting than I thought it would be from the onset. Because I didn't like this matchup initially, but it's been entertaining. It's been 2 really good games. And I think the other thing that got a little people kind of gassed up is the way Toronto won game 1. But people forget that was really a close game for most of that game. Toronto kind of went crazy there late, hitting some just incredible shots, Even Chubbs got in on the action, but
they fed off of the crowd. Well,
yeah, they fed off the energy in the crowd, and I think Golden State, you could tell the layoff, affected them there late in that game. They kind of ran out of gas. They didn't really have it there late, but this is really essentially two close games. So give Toronto credit. They've showed up. Outside of that onslaught that they withstood in that third quarter tonight, but Toronto's been there each and every quarter, so that bodes well, I guess. But yeah, it's hard not to pick against Golden State, man. It's hard to pick against Golden State, man. It just really is. So right now you got Golden State in 5, and I'll be nice, and I got Golden State in 6.
Hey, at the end of the day, we got Golden State.
Yeah, either way, right? Either way. Real quick before we get out of here, man, any thoughts on Ruiz and Joshua?
I mean, look, I didn't watch it. I just caught the highlights.
Yeah,
because I was expecting
most people probably didn't either.
Yeah, I was expecting Joshua to get out of there. Everybody knows we want to see Joshua and Wilder, so I don't know where to go from here. You know what I mean? I honestly don't.
That's still a money fight. The people that are out here saying that that fight's not going to happen, and it's a but. Nah, it's still going to happen. It's still. I mean, has it lost? Has it lost a little bit of its luster? Yeah, it has. But I mean, it's still a money fight. It's still one of the biggest fights boxing can offer you right now at this point.
This is true.
And Joshua, look, hey, Ruiz is not a bum. Like, that's the thing people kind of get out of this. Like, Ruiz is a competent fighter. I mean, this isn't some dude off the street. Like, this is a competent fighter. I mean, he's not Deontay Wilder or Fury or in that league, but less per se. But, he's a competent fighter, and he showed it last night.
There you go. He walking around with that butterbean body. You know what I mean?
That's what I think people they can't get over. Like, you walking around with this looking like looking like my man, the stand-up comedian. Yeah, but Ruiz is a competent fighter. And look, Joshua had a bad night. It's happened. I mean, it's happened in boxing. Many times it's happened. So, Iron Mike had a bad night against Buster Douglas. It happens. You know what I mean? It happens. So, I still don't think Wilder and Joshua has lost steam. It's lost some of it, but I still think it's a money fight. And I think when it'll
get picked back up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we rented a house and things like that. And in Vegas, the same weekend that Pacquiao and Mayweather fought. And we already know that was long overdue. And yet and still, we brought in a lot of money that weekend because of the names alone. So
yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, I would say Joshua's going to have to probably fight another 2 fights now just to make it happen. He's probably going to have to get a rematch from this fight, and then he's going to probably have to fight another fight just to kind of wash the taste out of his mouth.
So we probably won't see him and Wilder until next June?
Probably, yeah. Probably at the earliest June 2020. Hell, probably not even 2021.
Oh, that's oh man.
That's what this fight did. That's the one thing this fight did is it delayed that. You know what I'm saying? It delayed that definitely. But Joshua's been ducking Wilder.
Go ahead.
Well, because I was going to say Joshua's been ducking Wilder anyway, so you had to imagine they were going to duck each other even more. But now, I
feel like he can't duck him anymore.
Yeah, you can't duck him now. Now you really can't. Now you really can't duck him. Like now, if you're Joshua now, you got to repair your image immediately.
Give me a September or August fight, 2020.
Yeah. I mean, that's plausible. It's definitely plausible. Like I said, I wouldn't even be surprised 2021 though. But I mean, June, anywhere between May and September of 2020 is definitely in the cards. So,
man, they push it back to 21. Man, I'm at the Raiders game. I ain't tripping.
Las Vegas Raiders, baby. Here we go.
I might catch both of them that weekend. Who knows?
Fuck it. Hey man. Well, wasn't the Pacquiao fight the weekend of that Spurs Clippers Game 7? It was the same day, and it was also the same day as the damn Kentucky Derby where Thing finally won a Triple Crown. Like, so sometimes it'd be like that, man. It'd be like that. Hey, and you gotta believe that we're gonna get another Fury and Wilder fight.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah, we needed that. That's hey, you know what? If nothing else, we're talking about heavyweight boxing on the show right now. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That the heavyweight division is finally kind of fixing itself. It's finding itself a little bit. So that's a good thing.
Shout out to the heavyweight.
Yeah, shout out to the big boys, man. Shout out to the big boys. And Ruiz, man, hey, man, he had the night of his life. Give him credit. He had the night of his life. Give him credit. So, yeah, man. That's it. That's cool. But Baylor, man, it was an honor and a pleasure having you on the show, man. Before we go, man, take this time to plug your social media, your shows, where they can find you on Twitter, anything you got coming up. Just sell yourself right now to the audience, man.
Well, first of all, I got to give a shout out to UCLA women's softball. We go into the championship game to play against Oklahoma Monday. So
nice.
I just got to give out, UCLA fan. Baylor the Great at all social media platforms. You can find me on Twitter, talking that talk. You can follow me on Instagram, same thing. BTG for President every Thursday. Open Run with BTG every Wednesday. Again, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Raiders fan. I'm a UCLA fan. Let's talk that talk. Manny got to stop dodging me because I got some Duke questions for him. And
listen,
that's it, man.
Listen, I'm putting it on record right now. Whenever you want to do this in the next week or two, I'm there. Just give me a date and a time. I'm there. I'm there. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Hey, man. Okay. One question though. It's just a teaser. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And everybody can go listen to the show that we'll do in the future, and we'll revisit it again. But right now, who's the second best college basketball team?
The second best college basketball team?
Yes.
Ever? Right now? Like, what's the context?
Of all time. No, wait. Let me put it to you like this. No, we're not going to do teams. I'm not going to do teams. I'm just going to do programs overall. The second best basketball program.
Man, put me on the spot. I mean, I think number one, you kind of got to start with UCLA, right?
No. Okay, all right. Then we ain't even got to finish it. That's all we need to say.
We got to start with. See, you lured me in with that question. Okay, but who's been the best college program in the last 25 years? UCLA or Duke? Finish that sentence.
Duke is up there.
Oh, it's up there. Oh, okay.
How many titles Duke got
in 25 years?
Yeah,
25 years is going back to what, 1994. So we got 5.
I got 5.
Yeah.
We got one.
Oh, no. Since 94, no, we don't got 5 because 91, 92 don't count then. So since 94, 25 years, we got 3. 01, 2010, and 2015.
All right.
How many UCLA got? Which I won that championship in what,
95.
95?
95. Yeah.
And y'all ain't been. And then y'all.
Hey, we have problems in Florida.
Yeah, y'all ran into Florida.
Yo, Joakim Noah.
I thought y'all was going to beat Florida that first year, too. That was mad as hell, too, because I had money on y'all boys.
Hell no, man. Them guards was killing us.
Yeah, they killed y'all, man. They killed y'all.
And D. Rose wasn't supposed to go to Memphis. Shout out to whoever took his entry test, but he wasn't supposed to be there. Didn't they get blasted by Kansas, I think?
Oh no, they missed free throws by Kansas. Yeah, shout out to Mario Chalmers. But nah, man, you know, the mobster John Calipari was calling in them favors from John Gotti and the boys.
Yeah,
he was like, hey, Paisan, make it so my boy doesn't have to go to UCLA, man. He was calling no favors in. But yeah, man, we listen, to be continued. We'll definitely get into this and more. I'll be on Open Floor one of these days in the not so distant future. I'm telling you, next 2 weeks, let's do it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready with the context. I'm ready. And especially the draft coming up. I know you want to get into Zion. I could feel it. It's in your pores. I could just feel it seeping out. Like, you want to get into Zion
questions. Yeah, I got a couple of Zion questions. I got a couple of Duke questions. Yeah, it's gonna be a late show. Don't worry about it.
Because this man right here is a Duke hater and a Zion hater specifically. So we definitely.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I hate Duke. Zion is just. I have questions about Zion. That's all. I don't dislike him. I just got questions or whatever. But I'll be seeing him in the summer league. He better not. Okay. He better not hold out.
Oh, he ain't gonna hold out. He gonna play. He gonna play.
You know what I'm saying?
He gonna play. It's sad for the NBA that he has to be saddled in New Orleans, but that's another story for another day.
Okay.
Yeah, man. But
we got to do a Laker game in the future. You got to start coming to summer too.
So 2 things I just put out here, man. We are definitely doing a Laker game. next year, 2020. It's happening. It's happening.
Okay.
And we're doing open floor in the next 2 weeks. So it's happening. It's open run. My bad. Open run. Open floor is the SI one. My bad. Damn. It's late. It's late, guys. I'm sorry.
And you gotta do Summer League next year too.
Summer League is Vegas, so I'm always down to go to Vegas. So yeah, let's
Summer League. You gotta do Summer League, or you got to do the NFL draft with me next year.
It's
NFL
on the way.
Draft is in Vegas.
Let's do it. Is it in Vegas next year?
Yes, it is. I'll be out there.
Okay, I didn't. Oh, hey, the draft might be fun. Now that I think about it, draft might be fun. That might be that definitely might be doable. That definitely might be doable. But we'll talk offline. We'll talk offline on that. Yeah, but it's in writing. It's on wax right now. Open run and either Lakers definitely and maybe the NFL draft. Not maybe. Okay. Some combination of the NFL draft or Summer League. So we're doing this. Okay. All right, man. For all the listeners, man, as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing to the show. Make sure you go listen and follow Baylor's podcast and follow him on Twitter as well. As always, thank you for listening and supporting the podcast. I always say this each and every week. Without you guys, the listeners, there is no podcast. No matter how dope the host is, without the listeners, there's no show. So thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting the show each and every week. Follow me on Twitter at DManuel Brown. Follow the show on Twitter at AGS Pod. On Instagram, AGS Podcast. Facebook, Any Given Sunday. Make sure you become a member of AGS Nation. Follow me on Twitter, like I said, Manuel Brown, at DManuel Brown. On Instagram, at DManuel Brown. And on Snapchat, MannyBro15. For my guest this evening, damn, it's late. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm sleepy. But I'm going to get the show up soon. For my guest today, Baylor the Great, I am Manny Brown. Have a happy, safe, blessed rest of your week. And we'll see you next week on the podcast. Peace, everybody.
Serious sound.